Australia is set to launch the Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute to tackle AI-related risks and ensure national protections as it aims to become a global leader in AI safety efforts. For more, we're joined by Dr. Karen Sutherland from University of the Sunshine Coast. Good to see you. Talk to us about the establishment of this Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute and why Australia is doing it.
Look, I think it's definitely a step in the right direction because this institute aims to try and keep up with the pace of AI evolution. Whether it will be successful, I don't know, because it's moving very quickly, but at least there's some initiative happening with that. And they will be joining a range of international, national AI safety institutes as well. So there'll be a whole network of them working together. And it's interesting because it's not just filled with, say, scientists or government officials. It's actually going to be really collaborating with business leaders and big business regulators and the public to make sure that what they're doing is relevant and useful.
What key functions will the AISI perform in relation to AI technologies? Do we know?
I think they're going to really just look at the harmful effects of it, everything from, say, deepfake technology and, I guess, AI-generated misinformation, that sort of thing. And there's things we don't even know what is going to happen yet in terms of AI evolution and the negative impacts. So the aim is to actually have someone looking at that, being a watchdog, to make sure that we're keeping up with the pace of bad actors in this space.
Yeah, and what about helping the Australian government to manage AI-related risks? Because there are obviously the consumer risks, protecting children, protecting us from defamation, all the sorts of things that there are already laws for that cover media, that cover IT and technology. We're seeing the protection of under 16s from social media at the moment. But does this sort of agency look at the big picture threats that AI could pose, where my YouTube is currently filled with, by 2027, AI is going to escape the lab and we're all going to be dead? Is this the sort of thing that it's going to be looking at, or is it small target?
It's really hard to say at this stage because it's only just been announced, but I would hope so. I would hope that not only are they looking at the immediate threats of AI, but they're also looking into the future to forecast what may happen and what may pose the greatest risks, and then be there working to develop ways to mitigate that risk, or if not eradicate it.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've seen the unions actually support the federal government in essentially a very light touch, soft approach when it comes to AI regulation. This news coming through over the past couple of days. The idea being that if you go too far with AI regulation, it will prevent international companies from setting up shop in Australia. They'll go elsewhere, and that there needs to be a bit of a balance. It was quite surprising that the unions would actually support this, but I guess there's a realization that AI is here. How big a threat it is to the workforce, we don't yet know.
That's right. And it's a double-edged sword, because with any new technology, there are some really amazing things that AI can do to help society in general, in healthcare and a whole range of industries. But again, there's that darker side where it can cause really great harm. And we need to make sure that there is that balance, because you're right, you don't want so much regulation that the positive outcomes are being suppressed, but then you don't want it to be a completely open playing field where the negative impacts can flourish.
And I understand that the AISI is actually planning to collaborate with the National AI Centre. I won't be mean and ask you what the difference is between the two of them, but does it show that already they're trying to get on the front foot, or is there a risk that they overgovern and therefore stymie the rollout of AI?
I honestly think that their function will be to really focus on the risks, where the National AI Centre is around AI development, but also they have a focus on safety too. But I think they can't only focus on safety. So I think this new government body will be there just to focus on that and to take a bit of the extra work involved in that off the National AI Centre, so then that they can help to ease it and make sure that AI evolution is happening safely, but that's not all the National AI Centre is focused on.
Yeah, I'm really interested when we talk about the protection of Australians' rights and safety when it comes to AI. What are the sorts of things that have come up? I know we say that in the future we're not sure what will happen, but at the moment, what are the sorts of things that have come up from AI when it comes to safety and Australians' rights?
I think this stage, I mean, there's things like, in terms of things like copyright, that's come up a lot. Maybe not safety issue, but people having their work stolen by AI tools to train their models on. But things on a level, it's things around deepfakes and people being scammed out of money. One of the biggest things that is happening at the moment are deepfakes of celebrities on social media endorsing scams that they're not even a part of. And so people get lulled into thinking that is actually the legitimate. And so they're losing money that way. So it's around that. It's around your identity online. And it's also around what we've seen, deepfake technology that's being used to create sort of pornographic content of people who aren't involved at all. And this is happening as young as in secondary school. So these things are happening. So there's a whole range of issues that AI has generated. And because of the evolution of AI video, the video now is amazing in terms of what it looks like and its likeness to reality, that's causing a huge risk as well. We can't determine what's real and what's not. It's getting much harder to do.
We're real, at least I hope so. Let's talk now about a groundbreaking initiative to create a code of practice for marking and labelling AI-generated content in response to the challenges of distinguishing it from authentic human-created material. I know we were just talking about this, but talk to us about the main, purpose of the code of practice launched by the Commission, because while you're talking about AI fakes and you're talking about scams, all I can think about is Facebook and all of the ad scams. We had a story over the past couple of weeks about how a huge percentage of their earnings, revenue generated by ads for Meta, actually comes from these fake ads. We think about the Australian TV presenter David Koch, who has been associated with all of these scams. He's come out lashing out at them, wanting to take the fight on to these big platforms, but they're overseas. Will the Commission be able to assist?
Oh, we would hope so. That at the moment, though, the regulations, it's an opt-in sort of thing at the moment. So it's not legally binding, but they're hoping that next year it will become legally binding, so that people who are forced, who are generating and using AI-generated content, they're forced to actually disclose that. So there's that transparency there. Now, many of the platforms, if you're using Sora or if you're using Google's VO3, when you're generating video and things like that, it has that watermark on there to show that it is AI generated, but it's so easy just to cut that out. Like you could go into, I'm not going to say, but you could go into another tool and edit that out. If you really want
of course. Get rid of it straight away.
So, however, what they're trying to do, the EU is trying to make sure that the social media platforms and whatever is hosting this material disclose it. So even if the creator's not doing it, that the platforms do it. And this is actually law in China now. They did that a few months ago, and there's really huge penalties for platforms that don't disclose AI-generated content on their feeds. So I think this is only another area of the world that's doing that. And so hopefully this will roll out further. But again, as the technology evolves, so too do bad actors. So while the law is playing catch up, they'll find a new way, I'm sure, to get around it.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think that YouTube is being ruined at the moment by AI-generated content, where you see this great thumbnail about a topic that you're interested in. I love aviation. Boeing's big plans for a brand new 747 return, and you go, oh, and you click on it, and all of a sudden, about 10 seconds in, you say, this is an AI-generated voice. This is AI-generated photos that they're zooming in on, AI-generated video. I don't know if I believe this, and therefore it leads to questions about the platform, doesn't it? And that generated AI content being clearly marked on platforms like YouTube, you would think that YouTube will be jumping on it. I'm afraid we're out of time, but great to chat as always. Appreciate your insights. We'll talk to you again soon. Dr. Karen Southon there from the Sunshine Coast. Thank you.